Sunrise, NIWA, we're moving on now to take a look at this. Well, yes, it's some disagreement. We'll find out what exactly it is between the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, and the Lagos State Government. So we've got Mazu Sambo, who is the area manager for Lagos National Inland Waterways Authority. Thank you for coming on this morning again.
Thank you, Chamberlain.
The last time you came, there was a court judgment in your favor for NIWA.
Yes.
But now it appears there's another court judgment, and people are wondering, wait a minute, what's happening today? It's this way, it swings the other way. And by the way, not many people remember, this started as far back as when, 2008?
The 2007.
2007.
Yes.
What's going on?
I will answer the last question first. I told you here on the platform the last time that this whole thing started, Chamberlain, because the Lagos State government, in its effort to undermine the Constitution, repealed the NIWA Act through the State House of Assembly, repealed the NIWA Act.
The NIWA Act?
The NIWA Act, an act of the National Assembly, was repealed by the Lagos State government. I have it right here, which I can leave with you. That's it. Laws of Lagos State, National Inland Waterways Authority Act, Repeal Law 2008. Like you know, no State House of Assembly has that power under our Constitution. That was the beginning of the issues between Lagos and NIWA. Now coming to the recent judgment you alluded to, which was delivered last Friday, and which Alausa is busy celebrating, I want to say 2 or 3 things with respect to that judgment. I have here with me 3 federal high court judgments.
Recent ones?
That means of concurrent jurisdiction. I'm coming to that. Of concurrent jurisdiction with the federal high court.
Yeah.
And incidentally, the same, his lordship, the same judge that delivered last week's judgment also has a ruling here. And in this judgment, Lagos State Council accepted the power of NIWA under the Constitution.
Which year was that one?
This was 2014. I will also leave it with you, sir. This is the other judgment by Justice Oho of 2014 also.
Concurrent jurisdiction.
Of concurrent jurisdiction. This is another judgment by no less a judge than the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court itself, Justice Ibrahim Auta, who just retired very recently, in which he ruled that under Nigeria's constitution, Lagos State government has no power over inland waterways in Nigeria, in Lagos State.
Which year was that one too?
This was 2013. Now, there is also an appeal court judgment. And if you place, if you like, 100 federal high court judgments against a federal court of appeal judgment, it is the federal court of appeal judgment that stands. Whatever else these other judgments say holds no water, beyond more than what the court of appeal has ruled, because it is a court of superior jurisdiction. Finally, Chamberlain, this matter is actually at the Supreme Court as we speak. The operators have already filed an appeal. They have also filed a motion for injunction restraining Lagos State government from imposing charges on them or trying to regulate them until the determination of the appeal.
If I could pick in, because there was one, there's at a place I read up where you were saying you were expecting judgment at the Supreme Court. They had fixed a date or something before this judgment came. Did you ever make such comments?
I did say that we were going to appeal at the Supreme Court.
Okay. So, but now that this judgment has come, which Lagos State has interpreted that it favors them, how do you intend to respond to this? Are you going to wait until the Supreme Court rules, or are you going to appeal this judgment? Or would you just dismiss this pending?
Of course, in law, you must fulfill all righteousness. This very judgment of Friday will be appealed. Our lawyer has already commenced the processes of getting the record of the court. So that is on one side. That does not preclude the case at the Supreme Court from still going on.
Okay. Now, we'll still come back to this judgment. What is the bone of contention? Why going to court?
Now, Chamberlain, we did not go to court. The boat operators and dredgers back in 2012, they were being charged at the Lagos State government level alone. 3-4 different agencies regulate their activities, and we are collecting money from them. One, the Minister of Waterfront Infrastructure imposes charges and collects money from them. The Lagos State Waterways Authority imposes charges and collects money from them. The Ministry of Environment of Lagos State imposes charges and collects money from them. The Lagos Safety Commission imposes charges on them and collects money from them. That is at the Lagos State level alone. At the federal level, they pay to the Federal Ministry of Mines, they pay to National Inland Waterways Authority, and they also pay to Mines, NIWA, and NIMASA when they want to register their equipment and boats. They pay to the local governments, they pay to the communities. The burden was too much. The business was being killed. And they decided to approach the Federal High Court to say, Federal Judge, please tell us, of all these agencies, who has oversight powers over our activities? And that was when it was ruled in 2014 that it was only NIWA and NIMASA. Of course, the Federal Minister of Mines with respect to sand.
Okay, NIMASA was at some point, were they joined in one of those judgments?
Yes.
Between NIWA and NIMASA. Is it the one of 2008?
Between NIWA and NIMASA?
No, I think they were joined in that judgment.
Yeah, in that judgment, NIWA and NIMASA were declared as the lawful agents of government to oversee the commercial activities of the operators.
So, but you know, Lagos has also, part of the reasons that they're putting out there is that, look, this resources within their territory. They don't see any reason why someone somewhere will come and be determining for Lagos what to do with its own resources.
Now, Chamberlain, I always laugh when they say someone somewhere. I don't understand. Is Lagos no more a part of Nigeria? When you say someone somewhere, it baffles me. Abuja is the capital of Nigeria. Lagos is one of the federating states of Nigeria. Until and unless we have one maybe devolution of powers, whereby some of these items on the exclusive list are devolved to states, or, for example, Lagos decides, Nigeria decides that Lagos should go on its own, or Lagos decides they want a referendum, which I don't think we are talking about here. So it always beats my imagination when they say someone somewhere. Yet, we are not from somewhere. We are also Lagosians. Chamberlain, I pay tax in Lagos. 70% of the inland, internally generated revenue of Lagos State is pay as you earn tax. Go and check your records. 70% of Lagos's IGR is pay as you earn tax.